Hi guys, welcome to part 3 of my vegetable garden tour. Today, as you can see, we are about 10th of August, and you can see that the garden has overgrown. It looks like a jungle. There's lots of goodies in there, although it looks quite packed. As you can see, that grey bowl you can see on the left, I'm going to use that to harvest some of the fruit and veg. My mum's been in hospital recently, so I haven't managed to be able to manage much of the garden, to do any micromanaging, which is actually very important in a small garden like mine where you have lots of things growing. So let's have a look and see what we've got. So we've got some runner beans growing, quite a lot of the flat beans. There are two varieties there, so you have the purple variety and the green one. They're very tasty. They're actually quite expensive to buy from the shop, so you're looking at a minimum of £5 a kilo. Sometimes it can go up to £7-8 depending on the season. And of course these are organic and fresh, so it's a bonus. We've got lots of tomatoes, mainly the hundreds and thousands in the baskets. I have 7 hanging baskets and a lot of tomatoes. Cucumber as well. We've had lots of cucumber, but I can see one here so far, and I'll have to rummage through all of this foliage to see if we have any more cucumbers growing. The Naga chili plant, I had 3. I've actually this one's doing pretty well. Unfortunately, it's growing quite late. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to transplant them into larger pots. As you can see, it's a very small pot, but it's still growing. Small pot, it requires more food and a lot more water. Under the canopy wall, on the back wall, we have a chocha, which is fotol in Bengali. It's growing well. There's lots of fotol growing. I'll only harvest the ones that I can reach from the ground. If I climb the wall, I'll get a lot more, but I don't have the time today. There's some few baby gourds or baby fannyhod is still there. We've harvested 11 already. We've had a few, shared most of them out. And let's hope we get some more. There are more tomato plants, the same variety, hundreds and thousands. In the greenhouse, we've got peppers. These are large sweet peppers. They're growing quite well. Seeds from my colleague. In very small pots, unfortunately. Again, I just haven't managed to repot them to larger pots. So the chili plants inside the greenhouse have done much better than the ones outside. So I put it down to the heat that's generated inside it. This is the first year of having a greenhouse, so I'm very pleased with that. The cucumbers have done really well inside there, as well as the chilies and the peppers. You can see there's the amaranth there just right in front of us. This has almost fully grown. It is fully grown. We just can't harvest it all today because you can't eat everything at the same time. So they're up to my chest height right now, so it's done quite well. Look at the garden. It is jungle, isn't it? We've already harvested, obviously I've mentioned a lot of the gourd plants. We had about 11 gourds. We've shared most of it out. Here's a bitter gourd plant, I believe. If someone can tell me what it's actually called in English, I actually really don't know. So it's called kherela in Bengali. It hasn't done very well, to be honest. It just hasn't had much climbing space, and it's amongst all the foliage, so it doesn't get a lot of light. The taro has done quite well. It grows fine under the canopy. A few chili plants in that pot. They're going to be, late with the chilies, but they're doing okay. As you can see in the background, you can see the bits of furniture. So the kitchen has been refurbished over the last few weeks, and it's all the rubbish that's been there. It's just been an obstacle for me to go and water the garden. And with my mother being in hospital, it's just been so difficult to give any time to the garden. But as you can see, garden's a jungle. I love it. It's great. I sometimes come and just sit under the canopy when it's sunny, and it's nice to just sit there and relax. The achocha, I will not be picking all of it, as I mentioned, because I'll have to climb the wall and it's very wet. and I don't have the time. I have to go back to hospital and see my mother. You can see there's a few cucamelons hanging off the canopy, and yes, I am doing a voiceover because when I first recorded this, my neighbors, my children were making too much noise. Yeah, so I won't be harvesting any of the greens, just the fruit and vegetables. So let's see how much of that grey bowl that I can fill up. And here's another cucamelon. We've picked loads of those so far, so let's see what happens in the next half an hour, how much we've managed to gather from what's been growing over the last few weeks. All right, I'll see you soon. Okay, so this is what I've managed to harvest over the last half an hour or so. Yep, so I found a couple more extra cucumbers. And you know, you've really got to look for the cucumbers because they usually hide on the ground and under all of the foliage. Look at these peppers, look at the size of these, it's incredible. And you know, this was the seeds were given to me by a colleague, just talking about gardening. And oh, here we got an extra helper. So this is the achocha that I managed. These are the cucamelons. So my son, he's gonna just chew it and put it away. So the cucamelons is quite a few, but actually, so we've already harvested probably this bowl amount of cucamelons. They're not very large vegetables, so they don't take much space. The achocha, this is all I could reach. There's a lot more on the wall, which I'll have to go on a dry day and pick. The flat beans, there's quite a few, enough for a curry or dish. Lots of tiny cherry tomatoes from the hanging baskets. We've picked probably this much already, or maybe a little bit less, so that's quite a lot, and there's plenty more growing, so I'm very happy about that. Now these beans, I've just picked those, and another reason why I wanted to harvest now, because if you leave beans on the trees or the plants for too long, they turn out like this and eventually they dry, and they're only good for seeding really. So you have to get the beans at the right time. And also, pretty much with all type of vegetables, if you pick the vegetables, it gives the trees or the plants more the chance to give more fruit and veg, because that way the plant doesn't have to maintain the vegetable that's already grown on it. So that's another reason why you should be harvesting regularly. Little man, yeah. So don't know if he's really enjoying this. So I'm really pleased about these peppers. I had some grown in there. These were the big ones are from the greenhouse. So the greenhouse is, it really does the job. Cucumbers, by the way. So I've only got 3 here, but we've probably picked about, at least 10, 12 already. We've had a lot of running beans already. We've had a lot of these beans already as well. And this is the first time I picked the flat beans. There are plenty more growing, so we should get some more of those. Achocha, honestly, I'm expecting a few bucket loads of these, which this is what we got last year. So all in all, it's a pretty good harvest. Here's the garden. As you can see, it's not very clear, but it's jungle. But I appreciate this. This is why I do the gardening, to make my garden look a bit like a rainforest. So, guys, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll be doing at least one more video of my garden and how it turns out just before the autumn. Give me a thumbs up as well, please, and leave me any comments, and I'll get back to you with any questions that you have. It'd be nice to discuss, share ideas with fellow gardeners. See you soon.